Dear students, we already learnt about hand picking, threshing, winnowing and sieving. Today we will discuss another method of separation, that is sedimentation, decantation and filtration. Now you know that there may be lighter impurities like dust or soil particles in rice or pulses. How are such impurities separated from rice or pulses? See, rice or pulses are usually washed before cooking. When our mother add water to these, the impurities like dust and soil particles get separated. These impurities go into water, which becomes a little muddy. See the picture? In this muddy water, the impurities goes and the heavier rice or pulses settle down when we add water. So, the first process, that is when the heavier component in a mixture settles after water is added to it, the process is called sedimentation. And in the next process, we remove the water which contains the impurities, and this process is known as decantation. See, when the heavier component in a mixture settles down after water is added to it, the process is called sedimentation. And the process in which water or any other liquid above the sediment is removed without disturbing the sediment. Remember that, without disturbing the sediment is called decantation. The same principle is used for separating a mixture of two liquids that do not mix with each other. For example, oil and water from their mixture can be separated by this process. If a mixture of such liquids is allowed to stand for some time, they form two separate layers. The component that forms the top layer can then be separated by using the decantation process. Okay, I hope you understand the sedimentation and decantation process. Now, I am going to discuss about next process, that is filtration. Filtration is a method for separating an insoluble solid. Separating an insoluble solid from a liquid by passing it through a medium. Often filter paper is used. Sometimes piece of cloth is used. Sometimes strainer is used for this filtration method. So filtration is a method for separating an insoluble solid from a liquid by passing it through a medium. Now understand the example. Filtration is used to separate pulp and seeds from the juice. Pulp and seeds from the juice are separated by using this filtration technique, and here we use a strainer. It is also used to separate cheese or paneer from milk. Here we can also use a strainer or a piece of cloth. Okay. So by using a medium, we can separate insoluble solid from a liquid, and that is known as filtration. Now, let us do some activity. We just collect some muddy water from a pond. Okay. Now, from this muddy water, we have to get a clear liquid, clear water. Okay. So what we do? Here, we use the basic principle, that is, when the heavier component in a mixture settles after leaving it undisturbed for some time, and this process is known as sedimentation. Next, decantation. The process of removal of water above the sediment is called decantation. And finally, separation of fine solid impurities from the decanted using a filter paper known as filtration. And to get clear water from muddy water, we use these three basic principles. We apply sedimentation, decantation, and filtration. Let's see. For this activity, the required items are: we take 2 beakers and muddy water, a key of steel, a piece of cloth, funnel, filter paper. These items are required for this activity. See, if we keep the muddy water for some time without disturbing the water, we can see that the mud is sedimented at the bottom of the beaker. Okay, so after some times we can see that mud becomes sedimented at the bottom of the beakers. Now we use this decantation method. By using decantation method, we transfer the above clear supernatant liquid into another beaker. Okay. Now we see, if we use a strainer to filter the decanted water, as it still contains some mud and becomes a haziness. So, if we use a strainer, can we get the clear water? No. If we use a piece of cloth, can you get the clear water? We have to use filter paper, as these filter papers has very tiny pores. Okay, so we have to use filter paper. How we use this filter paper? We folded the filter paper like a cone. We folded the filter paper in the form of a cone, and it is fixed onto a funnel. See, now it is fixed onto a funnel. Next, the mixture is then poured on the filter paper. The decanted water is then poured on the filter paper. What we see? We see that the liquid become clear into the another beaker, and the mud is absorbed by the filter paper. Okay, this mud totally absorbed by the filter paper, and we get the clear liquid. Here this filtrate is clear liquid. Okay, so by using this sedimentation, decantation and filtration method, we can get a clear water from a muddy water. Okay, so you must read this sedimentation, decantation and filtration method.